It is 7 o'clock. I call the June 21st, 2023 meeting of the Suffern Planning Board to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You're here from the quarry, is that correct? Yes. All right, so the two sign applicants aren't here, so we're going to jump you to the top of the list. Okay. So if you'd like to approach the podium, state your name and address for the record, and then let us know about your proposed project.
My name is Philip Lang. I'm one of the owners of the quarry project. Do you need my address? Is
the mic on?
I'm not sure.
Tap it.
How's that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Say your last name again, Philip.
Seems a little superfluous when we're this close. My name's Phil Lang. I'm one of the owners of the quarry project, and we're here to just talk to you guys about what we're, a change in direction that we have from the application we originally put into the town for a much larger project. We've had to scale that back. I think we had sent out a letter with just giving you a brief narrative of what it was that we were looking to do. We're limited at this point to building 125,000 square feet. That's because of the egress and ingress on the site. We only have one road right now to do that. But what we're looking to do is to bring the site down to an elevation of about 310 feet, and so that we can create the largest site that we're able to, with the hope that in later time, that if we can perhaps work out something with the adjacent property and get access to Old Mill Road, we will be able to develop a larger part of the property. With industrial, we want to stay within the allowable use of the zoning. That's kind of what we're looking at right now, to be able to do that, and it's a change of direction from where we were originally. What we had put into the town beforehand was, I think, 610,000 square feet, but that, of course, was predicated on us having access to Old Mill Road. So at this point, we're hoping to have that in the future, but we don't have that now, so we'd like to at least start with building what we're allowed to build there.
Now, when you talk about leveling the property, what does that entail? Does that entail draining the quarry?
I believe that, I don't know that it would need to be drained, but it would have to be dewatered to some extent, which is similar to what happened when it was running. I guess it last ran as an active quarry about 20 years ago. You guys would probably know that better than I do, but, there would be, I believe, some dewatering. Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Steve Caruso. I'm with the owners on the project and helping develop the strategy and the plan when you talk about the excavation. At this particular juncture, we're not talking about any dewatering at this moment. There's a simple drawing that we could present to the planning board, and what we're really talking about is creating about a 15-acre of the 60-acre site. About 26 acres is the lake. We're talking about leveling about a 15-acre piece that, if you looked at a cut view, it looks like a half of a triangle. There's a straight face and then the back of a slope. And basically what we want to do is take the knob down and flatten it all out. And by doing such, we would create a much better working space for future expansion of square footage and warehouse space, so that the property could be easily expanded if we could obtain egress and ingress from Mill Road. Okay? I think that's really where we're at. That's fair. Okay.
And I've been on that property years ago. I didn't grow up here, wasn't there as a teenager, I promise you that. But, so you're talking about right when you come in the gate and you go up that big hill, you want to sort of take some of that off?
So when you get to that flat plateau,
Yeah.
okay, basically almost maintain that flat plateau, give or take 10 feet, okay? And kind of just bring that all the way around. There's a lot of property along the, I guess, the easterly direction of the property. And so it would be behind the building, and it would be excellent for outdoor storage for the warehouse. It would be excellent for parking for the warehouse, and it would also be great for future building expansion if we were able to meet the fire code with 2 egresses, an ingress and an egress, right, to get bigger square footage. And that's really what the property is handicapped by, so we're going to try to work on that with the neighbors and the neighboring property owners to see if that's a possibility. It may or may not be the case, but to maximize the property's value, having a level pad is a lot better than having multiple buildings at different heights. So that's why we're making this amendment presentation.
Okay. Would the earth that you're removing stay on the property to sort of level it up in other places?
Some would, the majority would be taken off.
Okay, but the lake is going to remain as is, pretty much?
As of right now, at this particular moment, absolutely.
Yeah, I have a question.
Absolutely.
You're talking about building a 125,000 square foot building now.
Yes.
You don't have access to Old Mill. What do you consider your access to that 125,000 square foot building going to be?
Tilton Road. So with the one entrance, we're allowed by fire code to build up to 125,000
Okay.
square feet.
So it's the so what device are you saying you're allowed to build 125,000? So it's NFPA, the fire code, or?
Correct.
What about like the zoning and the building code? Do they have any limitations on what you can build with one?
As far as coverage goes, and as of right, you could build, I think, close to 1 million square feet on the property. In theory, obviously not with, you couldn't do that with the lake there and whatnot, but for a 60-acre site, that's how much you could build there. But with the fire egress code, it's a tough workaround with anything else on that, so you're limited to 125,000 square feet.
I see. And has the fire department reviewed that at all, or is this the first we're hearing about?
This is the first we're hearing about it,
The
yeah.
fire inspector gave a comment.
No, that's not for that, Rob, that's for Raoul. His egress.
No, this is Suffern Quarry. He said projects having a gross building area of up to 124,000 square feet that have a single approved apparatus road
What's the date of it?
where all buildings are approved with automatic sprinklers.
What's the date of it?
June 16th of 23.
Okay, so then he did comment on it.
Does anybody else have any comments?
So just what would the warehouse be proposed to do, and what sort of vehicles would be coming in and out or proposed?
We don't have any proposed, we don't have a tenant at this point for it because it's, too early in that stage. It would be whatever is a allowable use on the property. That's our goal, is to just try and maximize the usage of the property and still work with you guys to make sure it's something that's,
Understood. I guess I'll be a little bit more direct. Like, are we looking at 18-wheelers coming in through Tilton?
With the warehouse of that size, that's a possibility.
Are you limited because of the train trestle going underneath? Is there
No.
enough height?
No, I think it's almost 20 feet clear, maybe above that.
Yeah.
That's pretty high.
It's not a very big road, though. I guess you'd have to do traffic studies to make sure that it works.
Yeah, I was going to say, when it came to the other project, we were making sure that no trucks were going to be able to make a right onto 59, or Lafayette, if you will, at that point, to come down through into the village. We actually made that, as one of
Well, I think in our original proposal showed any truck traffic would be limited to making a left onto Lafayette and heading up towards Airmont.
Correct, it would be coming off Hemi and making the left, going up 59 there. But like I said, we did prohibit vehicles from Hemian making a right to go down through the village and everything else.
Okay, well,
So I'm just throwing that out there.
yeah, no, I know. But we wouldn't be on Hemian at all. It would be coming right down.
Understood. No, what I'm saying is you'd just be coming down 59 going right into the village, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Which is what we wanted to try to prevent. Is the restaurant property part of this as well, on the corner?
Yes.
So what would happen with that in your proposal?
That would be, more than likely, that would be demolished so that we could build a wider entrance there.
Okay.
And you say, so you're gonna remove, I've been to the site, and it seems like it's more rock than soil, so you're gonna remove 10 foot, did you say, of the plateau? You're gonna cut it down to a lower elevation?
About approximately 55 feet.
You're gonna cut it down 55 feet? Because I know, like, working in excavation in New York, it's an incredibly invasive procedure to take that much rock out. There's blasting and drilling and chopping. So it creates a lot of vibration, it creates a lot of noise, a lot of dust, so.
There's definite, in this excavation process, we would use things like very low charge blasting and splitting. Very similar to what happens in Westchester County. We would make sure that from a noise and from a vibration standpoint, we wouldn't affect the surrounding neighbors. And the excavation would be done mostly with rippers on excavators. So if you would kind of loosen the earth, there's seams in the bedrock. And then you take a ripper on an excavator and pull at the seams and take chunks and slabs of this material down and literally deconstruct according to what Mother Nature's laid down, okay? We've done that before, we can do that here. It's, in this particular mineral, it's almost conical, and it's, in certain spots, it's a vertical seam that will break off in fractures, almost if you were cutting a cake. And you can knock it down in that fashion. So we think that we can do it with, you use the word invasive, minimally invasive techniques to mitigate that dust, noise, vibration.
Vibration is an important one.
Oh, critical.
In New York City, people's foundations settle, plaster cracks, there's lots of lawsuits.
Absolutely, 100%. And I think that there's not a, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe that there's a structure within 1,500 feet.
Fairly isolated, yeah.
You know, so it's pretty remote, pretty isolated, very light charges with a ripping technique, would keep the noise down, would not affect the throughway, it would not affect, nobody would know we're there. I think we're pretty much, aside from coming and going, I don't think the operation would be even noticed.
How many cubic yards of material would be removed? Do you have an estimate?
About 1 million yards. So if you look at that, if you look at about 1 million yards over a 3-year excavation process, call it 350 rounding up to remain conservative. When you're going to the point of, okay, where are you bringing that? What are you doing with it? And more importantly, what are you doing with the trucks and what does that look like? We anticipate somewhere between 50 and 60 truck appearances a day. And if you bring that down to what the calculations are as far as tonnage goes on an annual basis, it's about 6 trucks per hour or a truck every 10 minutes. And just to give you an idea of what that looks like, the average gas station has a car in and out every 3 minutes. So it's, you know, it's about 3 times less than the average gas station traffic. Of course, it's a truck, but, you know, that we don't think that the truck traffic is going to be something that is going to be demonstratively different than what you already have in the area.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments or anything?
Did anybody live here when Tilcon was excavating rock? Because they were basically doing the same thing. They were blasting and removing stuff.
And we got calls every time it blasted. Calls every time, and we could feel it at the village hall.
Sure, so let me explain the difference. When Tilcon blasts, they typically do blasts in the magnitude of 50,000 tons to 100,000 ton blasts because they want to keep the cost of the blasts down. They typically want to fragment the rock so that they can crush it and put it through a crusher so that it's less than a 24-inch minus. So they want to have literally, softball to basketball size material that can go through the crushers. So in order to do that, you have to really hit it with a hard charge, okay? They call that production blasting in the quarry. We're not talking about that, okay? We're not talking about that at all. If you ever look on the thruway where there was a pre-split, right, where they pre-split and drilled and then fragmented the mountain so that it had a nice clean face, okay? That's a very costly procedure. The technique that we would use would be somewhere between a pre-split and a production blast. It's kind of in the middle of the road. It's a very low charge. It's to literally give it a jolt when they shoot and people feel it, and you get the call from Mrs. Jones that says, my foundation got cracked, they're setting off something that's in the magnitude of 10 pounds per foot. What we're talking about in a depth in a charge would be a pound over 10 feet, okay? So 1 pound in a 10-foot hole and taking down layers at 10 feet. So it's dramatic. You could call it blasting, but it's a dramatically different process. So we could demonstrate that to you as well to mitigate some of the initial concerns and to show you exactly how we would do it.
I think you would have to, maybe a demonstration, but also just guidelines so that if there is a complaint, kind of out of business until it's addressed.
So there's always going to be some everybody has the ability to say something at any given time about any given project. There's something that you just can't do. If somebody sees a truck or somebody sees a construction worker or somebody sees something going on there, they may have a complaint, but we're going to show you a demonstration. If we get to the point where you say, okay, we're okay with this, we'll show you video of what that looks like. There's something in blasting called a Z-curve. In the state of New York, you can't blast out over a 2 on the Z-curve, okay? All it is vibrations. Blasters typically take structures like culverts and drainage ways and spillways, and they'll put a Richter scale, right, on it, and they'll look at the vibration. And if it's over a 2, the blasters could be in violation because you've created too loud of an air blast and too much of a vibration. The stuff that we're going to be doing is not even detectable at the distances that we're talking about. And I rest assured, we can make assurances that no one will know on a day that we're even doing anything, that blasting, they won't even know it. And we can make assurances to that.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I'm just rambling now, but is your use an approved use for the current zoning?
What we're proposing, yes.
What is the zoning, what zoning letter are you?
I don't remember what the zoning is. My partner, I apologize, would know that, is sick. He wasn't able to come tonight, but it's zoned industrial, and this is what we're looking to build is an allowable use.
PLI zoning.
There you go.
PLI zoning letter? No. PLI. It's a PLI zoning district.
Plans like industrial.
Okay. Anybody else? No? Okay. I mean, I think there are a few concerns, traffic, noise, which I think you can address and things like that, but, the next step is, I guess, to submit a formal plan.
Well, they'd have to submit a plan.
They'd have to submit.
I guess they want to get an idea from the board if the board, had any specific issues or...
Yeah, I think, the whole traffic issue of the trucks coming down into the village is something that we have to take a look at and address. Last summer, when we were under the impression that you had Old Mill Road, it wasn't really an issue. So I think that's something that it certainly concerns the board.
So if we're hoping at some point, as we said, to get use of Old Mill Road, but I'm thinking that would be some years in the future, and obviously this site work is a couple of years to do this as well. But what's the view of the board if we're not able to do that, since what we're looking to do is an allowable use? You know, is this a non-starter from the get-go, or something that, you know, you would consider? Because we have a property now that we're trying to work within the confines of the allowable uses to develop as much as we're able to.
Yeah, I mean, I think without a plan, yeah, you know, it's difficult to say, but, you know, you've gotten I mean, I don't know if you want to give an idea of, you obviously have to look at a plan, certainly where the use is permitted, and if there's no variances, you have to give it an appropriate review.
I can tell you that I would be concerned about the traffic coming in from Tilton. That would be a concern. I mean, once again, I wouldn't tell you a yes or no without seeing a plan. I think that's an uneducated and, you know, a backwards way to go here. But I can tell you that would be one of my main concerns.
All right, well, and that's our purpose, why we wanted to come here and just kind of informally before we...
Understood, you don't want to start spending...
...plans and looking at this in greater detail to make sure that it's something that we should move forward with and continue to pursue.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice night.
Nice, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
This is our window piece, the American Dream.
Okay, so we will call sign application for American Dream. Step forward to the podium.
Yeah.
And please state your name and address for the record.
His name is Armando Arellano, and the name is American Dream.
Could you talk into that mic, because we're trying to get you on the...
It is American Dream, and it's 17 Lafayette Avenue.
That's the new one.
21, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, and we have your sign application. The building inspector was out, took a look at it. There are no issues with it. Does anybody else have any comments? Okay.
No issue.
Anybody else have any questions or comments?
You have to approve that window.
Okay. I thought that was okay now.
It's good, but we have to include it in there. because he
Okay.
didn't give it to us.
Okay, yeah, in the photo that we have of the front of the building, there's a sign up above.
Yeah.
There's also a sign in the window, which I don't believe was on the application. So I don't know if everybody's taken a look at that. It you know, falls within the guidelines. There's no issues with it. Does anybody have a question or comment on that? You want to see the photo?
Do you want to see what we're talking about?
Yeah, the sign in the window, yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
That should have been on the application, but it's not, so.
I didn't know, so
You didn't know that, yeah.
we can put it.
We can put in the application, can we, or?
I don't think you need to.
We're gonna include it in this.
Yeah, we're going to include it in this. I mean, it's supposed to be on the
Yeah,
application.
because it's a bar and grill essentially. That's what the restaurant is, basically.
Okay. Does anybody want to see the photo so we know what we're talking about? or good?
I sent it to everybody.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion to approve the sign for American Dream Restaurant Corporation?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Mr. Stanbridge, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. McInerney, all in favor say aye. Aye, all opposed. Motion carries. Good luck with your business.
All right, thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Sorry for the hassle that we didn't approve the other part.
That's all right.
It happens, that's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
We're good. Okay,
State Farm.
all right, next on the agenda is State Farm. I don't believe there's anybody here.
It couldn't come.
They couldn't come. How, we can approve it anyway.
Yes, we can.
Okay, according to the building inspector, it is in compliance. This is a building down at the point where Washington and 202 meet. Does anybody have any questions or comments on this?
so.
It's illuminated or not? It's not illuminated.
No.
What's there now?
I think there's a law office in there.
Is that the Albright?
Yeah, I think it's Albrecht or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on the end. All right, do I have a motion to approve the sign application for State Farm?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second? A motion, Mr. Dale, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Halper. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Do we have any old business to discuss?
Did you want to, go ahead.
You want to bring up Raoul?
Well, first I was going to mention the Montebello
Yes.
project at 5 Hemian Road. I don't know if you had a chance to look at that. It's for no, it's for a building, an office building, which includes a generator. Their meeting is July 11th, so if you have any comments, either you do them now, or, do you have it?
No, this is the bigger drawing of what I sent you on the bakery.
Oh,
but
before you
I
go to
just wanna
that,
get
so
it out.
on that Hemian, the question is if you want to have any comments on it, or if you want to look at it further, and you can email them to Joanne.
It's across the street from
The bank.
no, it's across the street from,
McDonald's, right?
CVS or McDonald's, right?
yes, it's on where Montebello's building that stuff, across from the MLB, the medical office building and stuff, they're putting all that stuff in there. So I sent you everything on, it's on like a disc, I sent you everything, the whole board,
Yeah.
in the email. Yeah.
Yeah, you click on the link and then there are links in the link.
But Rob, what is the date of that meeting? Do you remember?
July 11th, I believe.
July 11th, so if you have any comments, you gotta get them in so they can get them to Montebello.
When did you send them?
I sent it probably,
I couldn't,
I think a week ago, I think last week, sometime.
Joanne, I couldn't open it when I tried to open it.
You couldn't open it?
No,
office
has
building.
anybody else been able to open it?
Now, there's a link, you click on the link and then there's like 5 or 6 other links
Yeah,
in there.
click on the link, you'll get a list.
Well, when I clicked on it, they said they wanted to see all my pictures and all my emails and everything. I'm going, no, thank you. I wouldn't go. Yeah, I'll try it again.
I'll send it again. I'll
Okay.
go in tomorrow, I'll send it again to everybody in case anyone.
I think I know where the building is, but, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so everybody is going to take a look at that.
building there on Hemian.
It's, yeah, across from CVS and whatever.
But then it's not new construction.
No, it's new construction, isn't it?
Yeah, it's new
Yeah, it's new
construction.
construction.
Oh, it is, it's an empty lot? I'm just a little confused which piece of property that is.
Yeah, it's,
There's professional, isn't there a professional?
there's something back there, yeah.
Yeah, like there's a small parking lot almost right across from Lackawanna.
It's
Oh,
over
yeah, but
there.
that's just a little old medical office building.
Right, so, but it's that piece of property, correct?
I'm not sure. You'd have to look
I gotta look at the maps, because I wasn't 100% sure, so.
That's the space I thought
Okay,
it
well,
was.
the
but-
big one is in my office, and we only got one set plus the disc, so if anybody wants to look at it, you can come into the office, Todd. You can stop in the office to look if you can't open it. I have the maps, but
Okay,
we
I'll
only
take
got
it.
one set.
Okay.
I'd be inclined for that. Why wouldn't I want to build an office building on a dead piece of property? I'm all for it. Can we vote?
Well, it's more comments, if you had comments.
It's an old
My comment
building.
is, if it's trees right now, and you want to make it a productive part of society, I'm all for that.
And we do have some paperwork and plans on, what is it, 65 Lafayette?
It's actually 65 Lafayette and 31 Park.
Okay.
The post office has a discrepancy, but 911 said it's those two addresses.
And the planning board can't waive parking requirement.
I don't believe we can now.
There's a new law. New law.
What do they need, 39 spots?
No, 39.
39, okay.
Make it a 50-foot hole.
I did read it, I just have a bad memory.
39, 48, you know.
Right.
Okay, did everybody get a copy of the bigger new drawing of his
Yes.
egress? Okay, and you all got the copy of Adam Gordon's comments about the egress that it meets the standards or above?
It does need it,
Okay. So you want to tell them about possibly moving the meeting forward when we get the meeting out?
Yeah.
Raoul.
Okay, so we have to set we've got to set a meeting for July. And Danina's, the documentation was sent to the county. They have until when? to get
Not
that?
Danina.
Not Danina, oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
Raoul Bar and Grill.
Raoul Bar and Grill. Can't keep them straight. And when's it due back?
It should be back Monday, the
Okay,
26th.
so yeah, it should be back Monday, the 26th. Should we talk about possibly moving the meeting up? I don't think we should do it the week of the 4th of July, but possibly the week after. Does that work, or does anybody have a conflict?
The 12th? Are we saying the 12th?
Yeah, the 12th.
So, the 12th, yeah.
That's fine by me.
Is that okay with everybody?
Okay, do I have a motion to set the date for the July meeting to July 12th?
Just a
reminder, your July meeting will have to be in the courtroom. Yes.
No.
At 7 PM.
Do we have to vote on that?
Yep, do I have a motion to set the July meeting for July 12th at 7 PM?
I'll make a motion, and I'll make a motion that we do it in the courtroom, too.
Okay, motion by Mr. Dale to do it July 12th, 7 PM in the courtroom. Do I have a second?
I second.
Second, Mr. Stanbridge. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Any miscellaneous?
I just had a question. I saw Airmont had sent like an exhaustive list of comments about the Brookfield thing. Is that being responded to, or it's just?
That came from Bonnie, and that went to Bonnie, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
fine.
just curious. I don't have.
She'll address, and the applicant will address to the extent it needs to be addressed, but you're the planning board for Suffern, not them.
Absolutely. All right, anything else? Any other
Sorry.
questions, comments? No, not a problem at all. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Motion, Mr. Halper. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. McInerney. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.